their winning ways as they beat Atletico Ottawa 5-0. New signing Reed Baker-Whiting made his club debut as the boys in gold advanced to the round of 16 in the CONCACAF Champions Cup to face Lionel Messi and Inter Miami. The NHL returns tonight from the Winter Olympic break. The Nashville Predators ramp up their second half of the season tomorrow night versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Pre-game coverage begins at 6 with puck drop to follow at 7, right here on 102.5 The Game on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
For more, log on to thegamenashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Good afternoon, Middle Tennessee. Welcome into the George Plaster Show on Wednesday, February 25th of the NFL Combine Week. The good news is it looks like the cold weather should be behind us because it's 60 degrees outside. It feels great, a little bit cloudy. This weekend's supposed to be beautiful. 70 degrees in my neck of the woods and sunny. Certainly going to take advantage of that. We have a loaded show today. As I mentioned, the NFL Combine is this week. Players officially start working out tomorrow. That'll start with the defensive linemen and the linebackers. All the media, they're down there, or up there, I should say. It is north of us in Indianapolis. Lots of Combine news and notes to get to today. We will have ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Turron Davenport on at 4 o'clock to go over all of that with us. And, of course, our good friend Mike Organ will be on at his normal time at 3:20. Afterwards, later on in the show at 4:40, we're going to open up the phones. Go a lot longer with you guys. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of calls. Again, lots of stuff to talk about. Craziness in college basketball as well. Also, a little college baseball action as well. With that, let's go ahead and meet the members of our crew today. We'll start with the person sitting right in front of me who's trying to figure out his tickets to the Vanderbilt-Kentucky game. George, how's it going?
Good. I'm not aware that that's anybody else's business.
It's not anybody's business.
Then why are you making it everybody's business?
I just aired it out to everybody.
Kelly, what is he doing? I mean,
if you don't know now about Parker, he tried to give away where I was going, and I told him I'm not telling you where I'm going. I don't want everybody to know where I'm going, but you don't have to stick. Here's the deal, George. Here's the deal. He might fold in the old Goodfellas scene when Joe Pesci said he might fold under questioning. You wouldn't have to stick bamboo shoots up Parker's nails. He's going to tell you everything he knows, brother. I promise.
I am an open book, guys. I don't care what.
Yeah, you are. Sometimes that young mouth of yours needs to be quiet, though.
Lock it up. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
We're good.
Kelly, you all right?
I'm great, man. How about you?
I like your hat. That's a nice looking hat you got there.
Appreciate it.
Looking
Thank
good,
you.
Kelly.
It's free.
Means a lot from you. This one was free.
How about that? Free hats galore, huh?
If it's free, it's for me. Give me 3.
Will you guys be taking advantage of the 70-degree weather this weekend? I know I certainly will be.
Hopefully.
I don't think it'll be 70 in Lexington. Whereas a broadcaster, I was 0 for 8.
Hopefully a little better luck on Saturday. Last home game of the night for Vanderbilt. George, will you be in attendance?
I will be in attendance.
There we
go. Let's cut through the crap. This is a game they have to win.
Must win.
And let me put it out there this way. Okay, it's not ideal to close the SEC with 3 straight road games. Mother Nature is the reason for that, not really the SEC. They didn't have any choice. But that makes tonight even more, important. Now, you worry a little bit that after they kind of spilled their guts out in the Tennessee game, because, look, they played really well and got nothing to show for it. You take Georgia for granted, and Georgia will come in here and kick your butt. Ask Kentucky. because Georgia, sort of did a number on the Cats a week ago in Lexington. And if Vandy isn't ready, they'll get beat. And they get beat tonight, they'll end up something more like a 7 seed as opposed to where they hoped they would be.
George, if I'm correct on this, I believe Georgia leads the SEC in dunks, and they might even lead the nation in dunks. That's where a large amount of their field goals come from. And their big man, Sumto Surreal, can give Vandy a lot of issues. So Vanderbilt better be careful. As George mentioned, though, last home game of the regular season for the old Commodores. They will follow that up with a trip to Rupp this weekend, and they will be at Ole Miss the game after that, and then good old Rocky Top to end things for Vanderbilt. Let's go ahead and start there, guys, with our daily sports update, because it was a wild night once again in college basketball, as my bet, unfortunately, did not pan out. Let's go ahead and start there, actually.
When was the last time it did?
This weekend. But that's besides the point.
Oh,
not really.
That's right. That's when you decided to take an 8-point favorite and announce that they would win outright. To hell with the spread.
Correct.
And
I
yet,
needed a little boost of confidence.
And yet, since you've been a part of this show, every last play had been against the spread. So you thought you were going to do something a little sneaky, a little underhanded, not overly honest with the listeners. Kelly, we can't have that.
All I know is this, George. In the BYU game, we told him it was a big spread, but they were down at one point by 35.
Yeah, they got smoked.
And they didn't act like they wanted to be there. Like, how do you deal with that as a coach? How do you do that, George? Like, in today's world, here's what I was going to ask you. I was thinking about this because I was watching stuff today. In today's basket, is it like we used to have that stuff back in the day, did we? Or did we not? I don't remember. You tell me, because, like guys it seemed like BYU at the beginning of the game, they just kind of gave up. Just gave up.
Kelly, if you look, first of all, I think one of the things that is going on, because it seems like a lot of teams are experiencing this. Kansas at home gets beat by 16 to Cincinnati. Never in that game. That doesn't ever happen at Fall Galley. There have been a series of teams that have just sort of like laid an egg. And my best theory to this, the season in college basketball is getting longer and longer. When I was growing up, it was 27 games. Well, think about it. Most of the teams are right at 27 right now, with another 4 or 5 in the regular season, the conference postseason tournament, and then, if you're fortunate, the NCAA tournament or the not invited tournament. So what's going on is the college season has sort of become a 40-game grind. And I think there are just certain nights where a team just mentally, they ain't there.
Kelly, too, I think this was a classic letdown spot, too, because BYU's coming over they had the Iowa State win, the big Iowa State win, a team that's projected to be a 1 seed last week. And then they get blown out at home to UCF. Now, UCF's a pretty decent team, but that should never happen.
UCF
and we're seeing this more and more often this year.
UCF was making shots too, man.
Know,
they were hitting them from downtown, and they were not missing. But I I get that, because you always have letdowns. It goes back to the beginning of sport. You have letdowns.
Last night for the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I understand that, but like it just seemed like BYU, once that started happening, they just didn't want to be there. They kind of gave up. That's what bothers me in today's sports world. I don't think I was ever on teams like that, but I grew up in a different time. But it just seems like that happens more and more to me.
Yeah, wild night. Tennessee lost to Missouri. There it is. Missouri giving teams issues again. Gave Vanderbilt issues last week. Gave Tennessee plenty of issues last night as well. And then tonight,
Well,
I actually
maybe
forgot to mention
some
this.
of it is that Missouri is legit.
Which I'm so confused why they're not firmly in the NCAA picture. One of the last
I don't
four
know.
in.
I don't know this, but watching that game, like is it the Barrett kid? Is that who it was for Missouri? They could
Yep,
not stop
Theo
that
Barrett,
kid. Yeah, they
28
could not
points for
stop
him.
him. Yeah, it just came a point in the game where he just took it over, and like anybody that was in front of him, he just took him to the rack and just scored.
And Mark Mitchell, 23 points. So they were the dynamic duo last night. Mark Mitchell, by the way, a 6'9" guard.
Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Several minutes ago, I asked Parker to get some tickets placed into my Apple
Now
Wallet.
you want to talk about the
Okay.
tickets.
And now,
Now you want to talk about the tickets, Kelly.
and at that point, I got like, I don't know how to do it. You know what?
That's exactly what I did.
Oh, Jorge there knew how
George,
to do it.
I'm actually really proud of you, George.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, you figured it out.
Of course I did.
I think I deserve the credit on this because I got George to this point.
Look, I'm a Battleground Academy graduate. I'm not stupid.
And what does that mean?
Well,
Let's just what is like? Hey, go a little further into that. What does that mean? You're a BGA graduate.
Well, it's a fine academic institution.
Well, it is, but were you?
Not really. No,
Okay, I mean that's what we're getting at here.
they must have graded on the curve.
St. Louis lost last night to Dayton. Another unexpected loss. And tonight, we get a couple of the big boys in the Big East. UConn and St. John's. Rick Pitino versus Dan Hurley at 6 o'clock on Peacock. I will be butt on couch for that one. Florida and Texas at 6. Two teams that are in the NCAA tournament. Georgia and Vandy. Texas A&M, Arkansas. Loaded slate tonight. Guys, let's go over to the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Some news and notes. Yesterday, Robert Saleh spoke to the media. Today, Mike Borgonzi spoke to the media. Clearly, Reuben Bain and David Bailey are going to be the focus here. They both spoke to the media today. And Reuben Bain earlier told Rich Eisen that not a one team has mentioned his arm length to him, which is what we're all criticizing.
Everybody's got to criticize something, but when you can rush the passer like he can, and when you're quick and you're short, I mean, he ain't the biggest, tallest guy ever, but like when you've got those legs and you can use, like he knows how to, he's a football player. He knows how to use his leverage. I ain't worried about how long his arms are. I get so sick of hearing about that stuff. Can the dude play or can he? And he can. You saw in the national championship game, the dude can get pressure on the quarterback.
This is called paralysis by analysis. Really?
Seriously.
Prospect fatigue, whatever term you want to use. And go ahead.
Have you ever heard a TV commentator say, the reason he sucks is because his arms aren't long enough?
His hands are too small. His arms are not long enough.
Coach Donnelly used to say that players come in all shapes and sizes, son. You got to go find them. And he's right.
That term you like to use, Kelly? Football playing Jesse?
Yeah, he's a football playing Jesse, man. That guy right there can play. And the Bailey kid from Texas Tech can play as well, man. Yeah, I don't think you're going to miss on either one of those guys. Now, you could, but if it's me, I'm getting the Reuben Bain kid. I think he's really, really good.
Arvell Reese is another guy that may be in the mix for all of this. He mentioned today to the media that the position he will be playing in the NFL is outside linebacker and edge rusher. Now, if Robert Saleh were to draft him, Kelly, I heard Saleh say yesterday that with Femi Oladejo, Denard Wilson tried to have him drop back in coverage a little bit, try all these different things, kind of throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. They want Femi to put his hand in the ground, which is something that Denard Wilson didn't have him doing. And to be honest, I don't see Arvell Reese being a guy that'll put his hand in the ground. I see him being more of a, like he said, a come off the edge 2-point stance outside linebacker type. So I think it's interesting.
I'm just not sure why these young men are telling these clubs what they're going to be. And I mean, I'm sure somebody doesn't care. That just kind of rubs me the wrong way. You're not going to tell me what you're going to be like. We think you, and it may be a better move for you. I had a guy that came from in high school. He went to he was a defensive tackle, and then he became an All-American as an old lineman. That was a better move for him. Like, what's to say? I mean, Robert Sala's been around this game for a long time, and some of these coaches have too. So it just irks me when guys say, "Well, I'm not putting my hand in the ground." What?
Different world. I don't think that he'll be available by the time the Titans pick at 4. Honestly,
It may not be.
I think it's straight down to Bailey and Bain, which I'd be happy with either. I feel like it's really splitting hairs.
Absolutely. I think so too. I don't know. I think you're right. I just think Ruben Bain, man, just watching him in the national championship game. Now I know when the semifinal game when Texas Tech played, I mean, or was it a quarterfinal or semi? I don't remember, but he played really good, man. He's one of those guys that does not quit, but just for me and for bang for the buck, I mean, and for my eye look, that Ruben Bain is quick off the line, and he knows how to use his leverage.
Heavy hand.
Yeah, got very, very good pad level. He's got, I always talk about pad level. I just think he's a really good football player, and I don't think you could go wrong with him if you have a chance.
I meant to get to this yesterday, but news coming out of San Francisco that Trent Williams, who's on the last year of his deal with the 49ers, they are working on a contract extension. Early signs are they have not had good conversations yet. So NBC reported that Williams and the 49ers may go their separate ways. He's 38 years old.
That's some big news.
Huge news.
Yeah.
That is big news because he's really good. He's really good.
Really good. The Chicago Bears are going to allow linebacker Tremaine Edmonds to seek a trade. They currently have negative cap space, and if they were to release him, that would free up about $15 million. And then Jaquan Brisker could also depart in free agency per a report. So the Bears are going to make big moves, and DJ Moore might be gone as well. Last thing, the men's hockey team, they were honored at President Trump's State of the Union address. Connor Hellebuck got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which I think was pretty well deserved. I thought it was a cool moment. But that concludes America's favorite update, gentlemen. Should we go to the commercial break?
God, I hope so. Kelly, this whole America's update.
Well,
how do you feel
give
about
it to
that?
him? I don't know. I mean, you've got to give it to him, though. He branded it. He's got a brand now. America's favorite update.
Next move on my part is getting T-shirts printed. So,
yeah,
make them the yellow. Make them the yellow that George used to use. Please do.
Oh, I hate
that. Would
the
be
yellow.
Awesome.
I don't look good in yellow, Kelly, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. Anyways, let's go to the break. We'll talk to Mike Organ on the other side of the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. 3400.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
No Kelly. All right. Welcome back into the George Plaster Show, where we have our good friend Mike Organ of the Tennessean on the line with us. Mike, how's it going?
It's going good, guys. Gearing up for some March Madness. It'll be here before you know it.
What's the countdown at, Mike? What, 17, 18 days?
Yeah, I think that's right. And I was looking at Joe Lenardi's bracketology, and we're going to be busy in Tennessee. As many as 6 teams, I think, could be in. And for a week now, he's had Belmont and Vanderbilt match it up in the first round in Tampa.
Tennessee State's in there, Belmont's in there, Tennessee, ETSU, Austin P. That would be 6 teams, if I'm counting correctly, from Tennessee.
Six teams, yeah. And think about that, Parker, that's without Memphis, which we usually have in, and Chattanooga is a team that gets in a lot. But even without Memphis, to have 6 teams would be doing something.
So what did you make of the Vanderbilt-Belmont pairing? I think that's interesting. You have 2 teams from the same city matching up in the first round of the tournament, if it were to play out that way.
And in a decent distance, drivable, I would say. I wouldn't drive it. I'd fly. But you got a lot of fans that could get there. Well, it's one of those things that it looks great, and we always talk about these matchups that we see these prognosticators making, but the selection committee never seems to make them. But I would, with Lenardi keeping it where he's at, and he's had it like this for a week now, I think he might be hearing something, and maybe there is something to keeping the higher seeds close to home this year. They always talk about that, but they don't ever seem to follow through with it. But maybe that's what they do, and Belmont earning some respect, coming in, I think, at a 12 seed or something like that. I don't know. I'd love that. That'd be a great matchup. And Belmont's good this year. Casey Alexander, he started working on this transfer deal, early. He saw that it had the potential to do what it did. And when other coaches on the mid-major level were saying things like, wow, this is going to take us down to like a 3 or maybe even a 2-year cycle, Casey was like, no, this is going to take us to a 1-year cycle. This is going to be like going out every summer and picking up, a team for your summer league games. There's not going to be much carryover. And somehow he's learned to master that. And he knows when he's got a player that's too good to move, that he'll probably move on, and he'll have to replace him. And he's just done a good job of keeping a good roster the last 3 years.
So we talked to Taylor Barnett on Monday, former Belmont men's basketball player, and we asked him about, Casey Alexander. George found an article, Kansas State has an opening now, and one of the first names on the list was Casey Alexander, and it appears I stole Kelly's question, but who cares? Do you think that Casey Alexander will be on the move next year, Mike?
Oh, I think there's a very good chance. I think we've got two area coaches that are going to be in demand. In fact, I talked to TSU athletic director Mickey Allen yesterday about how he's going to try to keep Nolan Smith, his first-year coach, and who has TSU knocking on the door for a tournament berth. And I think Casey will be right in there with him. Casey's had a longer time to build a good resume. Casey's won at least 20 games every year he's been at Belmont. That's been through a tough transition from the OVC to the Missouri Valley. That's not easy, stepping up like that in conferences. And he's kept Belmont in the mix and now at the top of the Missouri Valley, which, it took about probably as long as most people would have expected. And they got there. So, yeah, I think we got two coaches that are going to be in high demand.
So, Mike, I'm watching this I'm watching Tennessee and Missouri last night, and I'm thinking to myself, because Lenardi has Missouri as one of the last four in, if I'm correct on that. And I'm not exactly a Missouri basketball savant or anything, but they have two really good wins in the last week, one over Vanderbilt and one over Tennessee. So I'll ask you, do you think Missouri should be firmly in the field, especially after those two wins?
I sure think they're getting there. That tells us one thing. Either they're underrated or Tennessee and Vanderbilt are overrated. And we're starting to get worried about Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's been slipping. I looked yesterday. Vanderbilt has lost, I think, 6 of their last 10 games. So that's something to be alarmed about. Now they're going to get one of their top scorers back. And that's going to make a difference. And Tennessee seems to be playing a little bit better. I think we kind of had Tennessee had expectations a little bit too high coming into the season for them. So as we figure out where these two teams are, I think it's going to tell us something. But for Missouri, I think they're definitely, both teams were ahead of what we thought Missouri was. And I think you're right, Parker. I think we thought Missouri was a bubble team, and they look a little bit better than that now.
Vanderbilt's in their last 11 games, they're 5-6, and they host Georgia tonight, the last regular season game inside of Memorial Gymnasium. Georgia's in the field. They lead the SEC in dunks. I think they lead the nation in dunks as well. And what I'm worried about with Vanderbilt is they're going to get matched up against a team in the NCAA tournament that has a lot of size, and they're going to give Vanderbilt fits. And I think Georgia can do that. I'm picking Vanderbilt, but I think Georgia can give them a lot of issues as well, especially around the rim.
Kelly, listen to that. I'm picking Vanderbilt.
That doesn't mean much now. That doesn't mean much now.
You're 0 for basically since I returned to the show. You haven't won a game in a week and a half.
Oh, no. I need my credit. I need my credit for this weekend.
You're sitting here touting this nonsense.
I need my credit for this weekend.
I think he's on to something, George. I think Georgia presents matchup problems. Even back when Vanderbilt was undefeated, we saw chinks in the armor in the post game. They didn't play well. They didn't rebound well. They didn't defend well inside, and didn't score a lot inside. So I give Parker his due. I think this could be a problem for him. And like he and I both said. I said they were have won 4, lost 4 of their last 10, and he said they're 5-6 of their last 11. So he took it to another level.
and I'll turn it over to the man who's had the most incredible luck when it comes to betting, George Plaster. Go ahead, George.
Oh wow, Kelly, how much of this are we going to put up with?
He's on to something. Really, what is Parker on to? On to the blacktop is what Parker's on to.
Well, he did steal one of your questions, so it shows that great minds think alike.
Mike, that's the third time I've done it in the last week, and it's so funny because Kelly's reaction is priceless.
Yeah. So get your own stuff, Parker, you little punk.
Get out of my head, Kelly.
Mike, let me throw one at you, and because this is one Lenardi he's been very consistent with. Here is Miami of Ohio. They are undefeated, something like 26-0 And admittedly, in the MAC games, and of course, once you go MAC, you can never go back. But in the MAC, they've had a bunch of single-digit wins. They've won all these close games. And Lunardi is basically saying, I don't buy them. They're undefeated. Think about this. I think the last team that went through the regular season undefeated, would it be Kentucky's team that Wisconsin beat? I think like in the Elite Eight. Anyway, he's got them as an 11 seed, which basically is one of the last like 4 or 5 teams before you throw all the, all the conferences you've never heard of go like 13 through 16. I'm really curious if we're going to hear the no respect card for Miami of Ohio.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's got him as what was the last one I saw?
He's got him at 11.
At 11, so that's what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
And going far away, I've seen everything from San Diego to anyway, but not getting any respect, like you said. So absolutely, we're going to hear that. They're going to be all over that. That's such an easy pull for your moniker heading in, for your battle cry heading into the tournament. And if you get out of the MAC, what if they don't get out? Then who knows? Well, I think they still get in. I'm not even sure if they get in if it's a two-team conference. But yeah, that's definitely going to be the cry.
Yeah, it's just one of the interesting things for me that I've kind of looked at when he's put all this stuff out there. Kind of give me your thoughts. We asked this question. Parker brought it up on Monday. What the United States winning the gold in both the men's and the women's hockey, does it have any long-term effect on hockey growth in our country?
Yeah, it has to. It's not like it was in 1980. I don't think. Well, I think what it has, it has to do more with the women. I think you see more young girls that saw this and watched it, and you wonder how much they pay attention. I think once you get to where you've got one of your teams, ready to win a gold, I think people start paying attention, and I think that it brings awareness to young kids that I didn't even know I could do this. I didn't know this was available to me. Do we have ice rinks in our area? You find out that the Predators have built 4 rinks in the area, that there's plenty of places to go pretty much no matter where you are. You're in range. If you're in Wilson County, you can make it out to Antioch. If you're in Northwest, there's one in Clarksville. So, yeah, I think we see it, but I think it has more of an impact on females than it does the men. Of course, it can't hurt the men. I think it definitely brings some awareness there, but I think for the women more so. And a matter of fact, I heard Barry Trotz say the very same thing. So Barry Trotz and I think a lot like Kelly and Parker. We think the same things. We're both kind of sharp guys that have the same thought process. So I heard him kind of speaking to this himself.
So Sunday night at the National Football Foundation deal, I'm sure there was some talk about a Knoxville judge not allowing Joey Aguilar that final year. What's your take on that?
Shocked. I've been outspoken about how I think that going forward, the athlete's going to continue to win all of these decisions. That the courts are going to side with them because that's what the Supreme Court said in its decision when it opened the floodgates for NIL and transfer portal. Can't remember which justice wrote the decision, but he said that. I do remember it was. I can't remember which male justice it was, but he said going forward, we will continue to side with the athlete with his or her ability to make as much money as they can, regardless of what it takes, transferring or leaving high school, whatever it takes was basically the suggestion. And I thought that that's the way it was going to go because that's the way it went right after that. Every case we saw, Pavia, so many of them seemed to go for the athlete. So now we've had two with Alabama basketball and with Tennessee football side against the athlete. So I'm confused. I'll say that. I'm surprised and I'm a little confused.
Want to turn it to Kelly?
I guess we can turn it to Kelly. If he has any questions left.
Well,
I got questions. Don't do that, Parker. The other night we brought up the National Football Foundation, and I think we're getting better each and every year, man. I really do. People don't even know what the organization is about. It's part of the College Football Hall of Fame deal. But I want to ask you this because Clark Lee got up and spoke, and I thought it was very poignant. We used to we had everybody speak, which that got out of control, and I'm glad we do what we do now. But Clark went up there, and he talked a little bit about Eli Stowers. And I just want to know your thoughts on that because he talked about the hardships. Eli Stowers went to New Mexico State. He was a quarterback, got hurt, got beat out by Diego Pavia, had to change positions. And he just talked about what kind of young man Eli Stowers was and the spiritual leader of the football team. What your transactions with him, is that the way you see him, Mike?
Kelly, what I thought about when Clark got up and talked, which, by the way, on Sunday night we had less George Plaster and more Clark Lee, so I'm not particularly happy about that because George gave up some of his speaking opportunity. But that said, the first thing that popped into my head when Clark started to talk about that, the hardships that Eli went through and how he finished up, and Kelly, the fact that Eli won one of our top awards but couldn't be there Sunday night because he had left earlier in the day to go to the NFL Combine. So I thought that all popped into my head all at once. And that's what happens when you don't have any brains. You get a lot of empty space up there for things to pop into. So that all popped into my head at once. That was the fact that Eli had some hardships. Career may have ended, when he got beat out. And yet here he is today, and he can't come to something because he's at the NFL Combine. And the other thing that led me to think was, here's one of the good things that the transfer portal has done. We talk a lot about all the bad that has come from this and how it's just wrecked college athletics, not just football, but all sports. And that's true for the most part. But I think that without the lenient transfer rules put in place, that a player with Eli Stowers' ability, who had it in there, he just needed it brought out in a different way, at a different position, at a different school, would not have gotten that opportunity. So that's kind of what popped into my head when Clark got up there and said that. Now, as far as a player, I was sold on Eli halfway through the season. Kelly, I did a all-time the 25 greatest Vanderbilt players in 2025. I mean, since 2000 to 2025. So the 25 best football players in the last 25 years. And I put Eli Stowers right behind Pavia. Well, not right behind, but I mean, Pavia was number one. And then I think I had Eli at 15 or 16. He was the next current player that I had on the list. And I put him on. He's one of those that I put immediately, like when I started paring it down, these are two current players that are going to be on this list because the guy comes through. I mean, he could be a wide receiver. He could be a tight end. He's just a player. And Pavia owes a lot of his success to Eli Stowers.
Okay, so my last question here. We've talked a lot about basketball, and I asked Tony Basilio about women's basketball up at UT. I'm going to ask you again. I asked you a couple of weeks ago. It might have been last week, but we can't say enough about Michaela Blakes. I mean, she's had her sixth SEC Player of the Week award. Do you and Shea Ralph's done such a really good job? Do you see this team? Do you think this team has the capabilities of being a Final Four ladies basketball team?
You cut out the very end. You said, does this team have the capability of, and I didn't catch the last part.
Do you think Shea Ralph and her basketball team can make a run at this thing and maybe get to the women's Final Four?
Yeah. I probably believe would stop short of national champion, even though if you're in the Final Four, you're there. So, but yeah, this team can get that far. I don't have any doubt. We were in our weekly meeting in the sports department at Tennessean yesterday, and we started talking about the provisions we were going to have to start making because we know they're going to host at the end. They're going to go into the tournament with great momentum. The team is outstanding. Michaela Blake is just the best players we've seen there. I'm trying to think since when, and just outstanding. And I'm talking about in terms of versatility. She's just. We've seen great guards. We've seen great post players. Michaela can kind of do it all, and I know she handles the ball and has her hands on the ball most of the time, but she's just an all-around great player. And I think that when you can build around that, like say what Ralph has, you can do some damage in the NCAA tournament. And yeah, I can see this team going deep. Now you threw me. I thought you were just going to say deep into the tournament. When you said Final Four, I stopped and think that I thought, yeah. Because the women's game is still a little, the early rounds are still a little lopsided. So you take that time to regroup, get some players back from injury if you have any, and then, you're in Sweet 16 quickly if you're on the top tier. And that's only, 3 games away. So, yeah, they can get in the Final Four.
Mike, we've been talking a lot about the Vanderbilt women's basketball team, and we're certainly excited to follow them down the stretch and maybe even into the Final Four. Mike, we really appreciate the time, and we'll do it again next Wednesday.
All right, guys. Look forward to it. See ya.
See you, brother.
That was Mike Organ of the Tennessean, who joins us for his weekly visit. Got to call an audible. TD had something pop up at 4 o'clock, so now he's going to join us at 3:45 from Indianapolis. We'll get to that on the other side of the break. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. The art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. We're getting ready to head out to Indianapolis here in just a moment as we await ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Turron Davenport to join us from the NFL Combine. Been doing great work all week out in Indianapolis as the prospects are going to begin working out officially tomorrow, starting with the defensive linemen and the linebackers. While we're waiting for them, let's go ahead and start here, fellas. I wanted to pose this idea to TD when he comes on here in just a moment. But obviously a lot of the discourse is going to be Ruben Bain, David Bailey, Arvell Reese. I'm just interested to know how much of a fit Arvell Reese would be in Robert Saleh's system and scheme, because it's a lot different from what the Titans have ran in previous years. If he doesn't put his hand in the ground, I don't know if it's going to work as well as we think.
Kelly, I'll let you start that one.
Well, I know he's obviously a great player and he's going to go high in the draft, but is that a need? Do you I think the guys that get paid the majority of the money, we've talked about this, left tackle, quarterbacks, left tackles, defensive ends, because they can rush the passer. What has the Tennessee Titans struggled with the last of years? They cannot get any pressure on the quarterback. So and he's already telling people that he doesn't want to put his hand in the ground. Yeah, maybe he lines up as a 2-point rusher on the outside, but I don't think that's where you go. Now, some teams, this philosophy may change. Some teams just take the best player on the board. When they come up and the best player is there, that's who they take. But if you're needing something, and with the way that the Titans are structured, and now they're going to a new defense, they have to have somebody that can rush the passer. Like Jeffrey Simmons does a really good job. He's an interior guy, not an outside guy. I just don't think I wouldn't mess with Arvell Reese. I wouldn't do that. That's me. I'm not making the decision. So it's going to be interesting to see what they say about all this.
It appears we have Turron Davenport now joining us from Indianapolis. TD, first of all, thank you for fitting us into your busy schedule, because I know there's a lot going on at the Combine. Kind of bringing you into the conversation here, clearly a lot of the discourse for the Titans is going to be centered around Ruben Bailey and David Bailey, who I know both spoke to the media today. Arvell Reese is certainly going to be factored into this as well. But I saw earlier today where he said that he's going to play outside linebacker and edge rusher. Do you think that he would be one of those guys that he puts his hand in the dirt at the next level?
Yeah, no, he could absolutely do that. He's one of those guys where he's not going to obviously rely as much on size, but he, as a hand in the dirt guy, could get that speed and power. And I think that's really going to be the thing. He's going to have to shock these offensive linemen by using his speed and striking them first and being able to get them off balance. And then he could do some things. I think when you look at Arvell Reese, if he puts his hand in the dirt, he's going to be like an Elvis Dumervil. If you go back to the Broncos days and Ravens days, and this is a guy that approached 100 sacks, so that's not a bad guy to be compared to.
And two, for Ruben Bain, his thing is kind of the heavy hands, the power. David Bailey's just kind of one of those athletic freaks, and so is Arvell Reese. But considering Saleh's system, and I heard where he mentioned yesterday with Femi Oladejo, he kind of wants to see him put his hand in the dirt. And to me, that kind of makes me think of Ruben Bain. Do you think that's kind of fair to say where Ruben Bain might translate to this system a little bit better?
Yeah, that's absolutely fair to say. And I think when you look at this group of edge defenders, Ruben Bain is the one that fits into that scheme the best. And I think he's just, to me, he's the most complete player, right, as far as being able to excel against the run, getting those tackles for losses, and then also as a pass rusher. Now, to me, he's not a high-end rusher where he's not going to get you – he's not likely. I don't want to say he's not going to, but he wouldn't be as likely to get you to 14 to 16 sacks, but that 10 to 12 and get you a bunch of TFLs and pressures, that's it right there. And I don't think that's anything to scoff at.
And I'll go ahead and turn it over to George because I know we have a bit of a time constraint here.
Turron, what was the most important thing you heard Mike Borgonzi say today?
That's a good question. I think the most important thing was just when he talked about, so this was one we had a walk and talk with him. And the most important thing to me, because I really feel Bain is the pick, the most important thing to me was he talked about the short arms, right? And he said that I don't see that when I watch Bain. I don't see that being a problem. But he also said, you got some guys who have long arms and don't know how to use them, and other guys who have shorter arms and know how to use them. So that I don't think is going to be a big issue in the evaluation process. I know outliers are some things that guys don't like to really touch on, but here it is right here. I don't think that's going to be any harm to the pick.
Do you think they've ruled out a trade possibility at 4 and that they are kind of down to those 3?
Yeah, I don't think a trade possibility is ruled out. You never want to do that because you want to always leave all options on the table, So I would say it's still there, but I mean, those guys, Reese, Bain, and Bailey, sounds like a good law firm. I think those guys, are options. But don't forget about Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame. And I'm just going to call him a playmaker out of Notre Dame. Don't forget about him.
Kelly, I know we got Turron for a short amount of time, so go.
Ron, me being a quarterback, I mean, do you think that that's where they're going defensive end? Because I've always said that, nowadays offensive tackles are few and far between. Is it just a pass rusher, which I think they obviously need, which they haven't been able to do? But do you think that it could be an offensive tackle as well, or no?
Yeah, I think tackle is a position that they would take. It really is going to come down to those 3 positions. Receiver, edge, and running back. And just instead of running back, I'll just say playmaker. I think it comes out to that. I don't think you see a receiver taken there at 4. One of the things that Robert Saleh said was, if you don't have anything to hide, compete. And Mike Borgonzi said that, he encourages guys to compete also. Obviously, injury-wise, that's something. But, I think it's going to be one of those positions, either edge or playmaker and Jeremiah Love. But then one other thing, because I know a lot of people have looked at Jordan Tyson as a guy that may go at 4. I highly doubt that. I've heard some things about his medical that may push him down into the low 20s.
So my last thing here, obviously, Will Levis has been here. Have you heard anything about Will Levis or about what they're going to do with him? I know that everybody says, Borgonzi talks about he's still got some value. We want to keep him, but have you heard anything about what they're going to do with him, or are they?
Yeah. So when you look at Will Levis, I think he is a guy that obviously he's a playmaker. He's someone that you want to have in the mix, and especially if you're looking at the backup position. Mike Borgonzi said that he did speak to him. Robert Saleh said he spoke to him recently and told him just to compete his butt off and have the best offseason he's ever had. And I think all you could do is ask him to come in and work things out, right? And get in where he fits in. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting traded.
You mentioned the Jeremiah Love thing, and I'm intrigued by that because I heard that question being asked. Do you think that is a legitimate possibility? Because the way I see it, I see that as kind of a luxury pick that the Titans can't afford right now.
It is a luxury pick, but this is a guy that's a 3-down player. He's a guy that you can motion him into the slot and have him run routes there. You can have him catch the ball out of the backfield. As far as the screen game is concerned, he's a home run hitter. And when you have an offense like this outside of Chim DK, Chig Okonkwo is probably moving on. So you don't really have those guys that, are those home run hitters, the threats to touch the ball and score every time. And I think that's what you get in Love. I thought it was interesting, too, because they continuously compared him Both times I asked about Love in the running back position and top 5 value. They compared or they mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think we look at Jahmyr Gibbs, you saw a couple years ago, you know what I mean, how he just completely changed the game. Remember, he took that outside zone and scooted 70-plus yards, and that's when the onslaught really started against the Lions for the Titans. So that's something. And to me, also, you look at the things that you could do, right? You could send him in motion, run the jet sweep, and you could have he and Tajay Spears in the backfield at the same time. You send him in motion, run the jet sweep, hit a home run that way, and then come back a little bit later, send him in motion, fake the jet sweep, go counter to Tajay Spears. You know how motion impacts defenses, right? You know, it'll open up that whole side that he left, and now you're really cooking. So I think when you look at all that and what he adds to the program, I would say this. I came away from this combine, and I haven't even seen Love run yet, but I came away like, you know what? Running back is not necessarily a luxury pick. This is one where you're just adding a playmaker, and that makes things more QB friendly. You know that when you can run the football and hit those home runs that way and start to get those safeties to come down in the box, next thing you know, you're able to hit a home run over top, you know, Jim DK or one of the other guys too.
TD, I wish we could do this all day because I know we can really get into the X's and O's of this. I know you got a meeting to get to. Really appreciate you squeezing us into your busy schedule, and I look forward to seeing your work at the Combine.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys, man. Take care. I see you got my guys, Bart Durham. You know what I mean? Shout out Blair Durham.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Keep the sponsorship going.
Appreciate you, TD. Thank you. That was Turron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, doing a lot of great work down at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. When we come back on the other side, stat of the day, and we're going to pick up that Jeremiah Love conversation because I think that is really interesting. This is the George Plaster Show.
Coming up on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and this is your sports menu for Wednesday, February 25th. Coming up at 5:30 on 102.5 The Game, Vanderbilt men's basketball is in action against Georgia.
For more, log on to thegamenashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Welcome to Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel, where every dish tells the story of Southern tradition and culinary excellence. Dive into our enhanced menu, featuring delights like the legendary Biscuit Bar and freshly revamped dishes that bring the farm straight to your fork. Perfect for a leisurely breakfast or a hearty lunch. We're open every day, ready to treat you to a meal that feels like home. Experience the refreshed feel at Kitchen Notes inside the Omni Nashville Hotel, where every bite is a note in Nashville's symphony of flavors.
Are you a plumbing pro or a sales ace ready for your next adventure? Busy Bee is hiring now. We need a lead residential plumbing installer with 5+ years experience, technical skills, and a can-do attitude. Or join us as an HVAC comfort advisor where your sales experience makes a difference every day. Great pay, supportive team, immediate start. Apply today at Busy Bee HVAC and help us build better, more comfortable homes. Don't wait. Buzz in now.
Call 775-7833. With no credit check and payments as low as $20 a week, why wait to upgrade your home? At Electronic Express, get everything you need, from premium appliances and TVs to gaming systems and more. Whether it's building your dream home theater or updating your kitchen, we make it affordable and easy. With over 40 years in business, trust us for the best selection, service, and guaranteed low prices. Shop online or at any of our 22 locations across Tennessee and Alabama. Electronic Express, for every moment of your day.
Mid-State Sports League spring registration is now open. With 7 different sports to choose from, there is something for every player. Join Nashville's largest sports league and register as a free agent or build your own team. Spring registration is now open for softball, sand volleyball, soccer, kickball, flag football, basketball, and pickleball. They also have spring youth soccer for kids preschool through 8th grade. For a full list of adult and youth leagues, check out midstatesports.com. That's midstatesports.com.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Our forecast going to keep us on the cloudy side going toward the afternoon, and some scattered rain showers move into the forecast throughout the day and really pick up overnight. High of 60 degrees today and back down to the 40s tomorrow. You'll wake up with a few more lingering showers.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Do you ever feel like gambling is causing financial strain or hurting your relationships? The Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling habits for over 2 decades. With physical clinics and remote online appointments, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gambling. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com so we can work together to help you win back your life. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Brought to you by the Tennessee Gambling Clinic, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Hey guys, it's Mike from Newton Ford South. Tired of complicated car visits? We've made it easier than ever to book the service you need or schedule time with our sales team. Whether it's time for routine maintenance, a recall check, or you want to test drive that new Ford you saw online, your next visit starts with a simple click. Our website is always up to date and easy to navigate. Don't put off that service or that upgrade. Take control of your schedule and your vehicle needs today. Schedule your service appointment today at newtonfordsouth.com.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Oh, baby, love that happened.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. Miami, Ohio is the first team to go 28 in a season since whom?
Kelly, I think it's Kentucky in, I want to say, I don't know, 11 or 12, somewhere in there, when they went undefeated and Wisconsin beat them in the NCAA tournament to the shock of everybody. Might not be, but that's the one that comes to mind for me.
I'm starting to think about the UConn teams, the two teams, those teams that won. They've had a bunch of good UConn teams. I'm going to say UConn.
Okay, let's put it up there.
Right smack dab in the middle of both of you, Gonzaga in 2020, 2021.
Oh, that's right. And that was the team that I kept saying, let's cut the crap. They're not winning at all.
They have never done it.
Yes,
never done it.
That's very true. Although they act like they have.
They do.
They act like they're God's gift to basketball. They're not.
George.
Now, let me say
awful.
this. The kid, Ike.
Graham Ike.
Graham Ike is for real.
He's a load.
The rest of that team is the product of whatever that wussy league is they play in.
I actually believe that's what the W stands for. The Wussy Coast Conference.
Wussy? Okay.
Wow.
So I know where you want to go with this, so I'm just going to beat you to it.
Okay, go ahead.
Kelly, help me with this. When I watch Jeremiah Love, I don't sit there and say to myself, that's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, when he said that, man, I was like, wow, Jahmyr Gibbs is but here's why Dan Campbell and those guys picked Jahmyr Gibbs, because he is a playmaker and he can stay on the field for all 3 downs. You don't find that much anymore, but they had so many more things around him that they could use that pick to pick a running back. I just don't think that the Titans are in that situation right now. And I don't know, I hadn't seen him enough. I watched him. Obviously, he's a really good runner. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, but I'm with you, George. I'm not sure that he's a Jahmyr Gibbs. That's crazy that they said that at the combine when Turron was talking to him. They talked about him as being another Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not sure that I see that. I think he's a really good football player, and somebody's going to get a really good football player at the running back position. But I'm just not sure that he's that yet. But that's the great thing about professional sports and professional football. Time will tell. And if somebody gets him and he turns into that, then we'll be like, yeah, Turron and those guys were right.
See, to me right now, if they were to make that pick, he damn well better be Jahmyr Gibbs. Because at number 4, as John Robinson learned and ran Carthon after him, you can't screw up first-round draft picks. And the Titans are in this position of being one of the real league deadbeats because they've missed on a bunch of ones. Now, they've also, in fairness, missed on everything. Until Borgonzi got here, their track record over a 5-year period, my grandmother could have done better.
And I will say that he is a home run hitter. Like Turron talked about, he is a home run hitter. But, just reading some stuff while we went on break, you know what? You might be onto something, Parker, because I think the Arvell Reese kid is kind of an enigma. I mean, he can drop back and he can rush the passer, so you're getting two guys in one. And I don't know if he's big enough. I know that, Reuben Bain and David Bailey are obviously guys that put their hands in the ground. But that might intrigue Robert Saleh because he's a defensive guy.
I'm saying that system, I don't think it'll fit.
I'm starting to think maybe you got something there, man, because he only played 1 year at Ohio State. But obviously he's kind of freakish. And if you can get two players in one, it's always good to have a 2-for-1 deal. And if he can rush the passer and be effective doing that without having to put his hand in the ground, and if he can drop back and he can cover people, I mean, I can see Robert Saleh going for that.
I see Arvell Reese being a fit more with the Jets because they really need playmakers. And I don't know if
and this team doesn't.
Here's what I'm saying though.
I mean,
here's what I'm saying. Aaron Glenn runs a very different system than what Robert Saleh runs. So Arvell Reese could fit that system better than he would fit Saleh's system. I've also seen Caleb Downs mocked to the Jets at 2, which I actually don't hate, considering Aaron Glenn's a defensive back.
Well, Caleb Downs, it's funny because I saw where the Giants are going, and the Giants are always taking safeties. It's like they're the team that always takes safeties. But Caleb Downs, I can remember when he was at Alabama, and Nick Saban talking about him, said he's the smartest football player I've ever coached. And then he goes to Ohio State. And, he's probably big enough where you could maybe bring him down too sometimes and get in the linebacker area. So, I don't know. The Titans are not going to take it as safety. So I don't, who knows what's going to happen at the top tier of the draft. That's why I think it's always so intriguing to watch the first couple of picks because all these guys do these mock drafts and everybody thinks they know. And you're not sitting in those meetings. You truly don't know. So it's fun to see all that happen.
It feels like it's Bailey or Bain.
Yeah, I'm with you. Arvell Reese is a developmental guy too, because he's really only played the true edge rusher position for a year.
Right. There's not much experience there, so you've got to teach him that much. But like just watching clips, I was watching clips of Reuben Bain too, man. He's violent. He seems like a really outstanding young man, but he's violent. He's quick. David Bailey's kind of the same way. They're a different build, but I don't think you could go wrong with either one of those guys.
So let me ask this question, because when he was drafted, T'Vondre Sweat was supposed to be the guy that would take up so much space and so many people would have to block him that Jeffrey Simmons could run wild. I don't see that that's happened.
Yeah, because he's not on he wasn't on the field. I mean, he got hurt, but Georgie's always struggling with his weight. They're always I think people, when you get into that situation, the weight coaches, everybody's on you about your weight. And, I don't know. I mean, he's going to he needs to have a come out year, because if he can do what they wanted him to do initially, that frees up Jeffrey Simmons. That frees up guys like they're going to get as an edge rusher. It frees guys up. And the run game, I can remember going against Casey Hampton and them guys at Pittsburgh up the middle. Like, you can't move them. They're immovable forces. And then you have to bring two guys and you have to double team him. And if he beats the double team, he just messes up the run game. And that's what they wanted T'Vondre Sweat for. It hadn't transpired so far, but maybe this new coaching staff can come in here and, light a fire under his rear end to get him to going. Because if you have somebody in the middle that could take up and suck up all those blocks and they don't get to the linebackers, man, it's a win for your defense.
Because it seems to me that that's one of the question marks right now that Saleh is going to have to figure out. Okay, is Sweat really a disruptive force, or is he just a body?
Is he just there? You're
Well,
right.
I don't know if you heard what Saleh said yesterday about Tavondre Sweat. They're going to ask him to run sideline to sideline in this new defense. That immediately gave me a little bit of concern. Not that I don't think he's capable. I think he's more athletic than people give him credit for. It's more so of a effort and conditioning thing that I worry about with Tavondre Sweat. I think it's pretty fair.
And that's a good point, man. You got to be in shape when you do stuff like that. And those guys are coming on and off the field, so he's running on and off the field too. So it's that's what a good strength coach does for you. He gets guys in shape and he gets them ready to play. And if he's still struggling with his weight, he's going to struggle to do that, and that's not going to help the Titans whatsoever.
Yeah, and he did lose weight over the course of last offseason, but still, I don't know if he's too heavy. And I'm interested to see how he comes back after the offseason too. Like when they get those guys in the building, did he put on more weight? Did he lose weight? Kind of like Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons lost 20, 25 pounds and took his game to another level. So if Tavondre Sweat was able to do that too, I wonder if that would open up things for him as well.
Well, when they drafted him, it was with the belief that he was going to be so destructive that it was going to take a couple of people to block him, freeing others around him.
Yeah.
I don't see where that's happened. I really don't.
And I can't say that I disagree, George. I'm kind of with you there because it has not happened. I know he's been injured quite a bit. So you got to be on the field. Like you said, he's making the club in the tub, but like at some point that's going to catch up with you. My whole thing is being a quarterback, you know where I'm going with this. I just don't know what you do with Will Levis. I really don't. I just don't. I don't know if he can put that aside and be a good teammate or not. Maybe if they talk to him, maybe they say, hey, Cam Ward's the guy. I just can't, it's hard for me to believe and to see him accepting that.
So, Kelly, it would appear that the one thing that he would have here is a fresh start.
He would.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The last coaching staff was totally put out with him. They'd had all of him they wanted. Callahan would openly show his frustration with Will Levis. Levis had to know that. And so now all of a sudden he gets a clean slate. I'm interested to see what goes on. I guess deep down, it would not shock me if they traded him right before the draft to another team that needs a backup, that decides.
That's kind of what Turron said, and I can see that being the only. I just don't see him being a fit here because, he also talked about, well, they set him down and they told him, hey, you got to do I've been in those meetings, man. I've heard all that bull garbage, do the best you can do and you can't miss a throw and we're evaluating that. I'm like, I wanted to say, like, if I was younger and been in my 13th year, my 13th year, I wish I could have been in my third year. And I'd have said, dude, you're absolutely out of your mind. And you're talking out of your butt because I have no shot here. And that's what, like, Will Levis has no shot. Cam Ward showed enough last year with not very good things around him. And he showed that he's durable. And I think he's the guy for the future. And if they say that, that's just a bunch of baloney, man. I get so sick of hearing that stuff from these GMs and these freaking head coaches. It just wears me out.
But here's the flip side of it, Kelly. Okay. If Cam Ward, God forbid, got hurt and it were fairly long term, then it's Will Levis if he's on the roster. I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
I don't see it being anything but a distraction. I've said that before. But on the flip side, with a new coaching staff, if they don't trade him and Ward were to get hurt, and let's be honest, okay, the percentages are such in the NFL. If you're a quarterback, at some point, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Unless you're Philip Rivers.
Wait till you're 45, baby.
Unless you're Peyton, which you know what you're doing, and you throw the ball away, or Tom Brady. But like when I think of Will Levis, I think of Mitch Trubisky. He was drafted in the first round. We know Will Levis was drafted in the top of the second. But Mitch Trubisky, everybody had this in Chicago that he was going to be the. It's just like I didn't see anything in college from him. It's the same thing with Levis. I just didn't see that. I don't see it.
So I have an idea about who the Titans could bring in as a backup quarterback, and it might surprise both of you, but I'm going to just shoot it straight. Jameis Winston, former first overall pick, knows the expectations that come along with being that. Not only would he be fun to cover, but he could pass along any wisdom that he's learned over his years in the NFL to Cam Ward. And also, would you feel better about him being a backup quarterback than Will Levis?
He's a turnover machine.
Okay, what's Will Levis?
Well, I'm not saying he isn't, but what I'm saying is, okay, what is it he's going to teach Cam Ward?
He was a former first overall pick.
No,
I
get that part, but he's now a veteran who continues to be a turnover machine.
Yes, I would feel more. I would feel more comfortable with Jameis Winston, though. But with that being said, I talked to Bruce a long time ago when he went to Tampa, and I said, "Good luck with Jameson." He's like, "Oh, I get him fixed. I get him fixed." You see what happened? I said, "Good luck with that
There's
one,"
a lot of
because he just
involved with coaches who think that they can fix guys.
Oh, absolutely. That's the majority of it. They all have big egos, and they all say, "Hey, he didn't know how to coach him. I can coach him." Well, if you watch film, you turn on the film, you see what a guy does. That's why it's so amazing what Sam Darnold's done, because when he was at USC, he was kind of a turnover machine too. And then when he went to the Jets, he wasn't with a very good team, but he did the same stuff. And then now he's gotten to the point, and I think Clint Kubiak kind of protected him a little bit because he had a really good football team, but he's not turning the ball over like he used to. Now, with that being said, that's probably oxymoron, because he did lead. I think he led the league in turnovers last year as a quarterback until he got into the playoffs, and they didn't have a turnover, which is the first time in NFL history that a team wins the Super Bowl and didn't have a turnover, which is pretty incredible.
George, I'm going to go through this list of backup potential free agent quarterbacks. You stop me when you hear one that you want. Russell Wilson.
Case Keenum.
George just threw it out there.
Here, actually.
Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has got that. Russell Wilson's a starter. Russell needs to go on and just love
Taylor's
everybody, and Tyrod Taylor.
Joe Flacco's on here.
Case Keenum.
Joe Flacco.
Case Keenum.
Jimmy G.
Case Keenum.
Jimmy G. I like Jimmy G.
What about Trey Lance?
Case Keenum.
Why are you so set on Case Keenum?
Because everywhere he's played, he's really played well. Okay? The last one you threw out there, just simply not accurate enough.
Who, Trey Lance?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Trey Lance is not, no.
Those are you can bring back Brandon Allen. Josh Johnson's here.
I've given you the answer. I gave you the answer to the test.
Kelly, what's your answer?
If you want to flunk, go somewhere else.
What's
if you
your
want
answer,
to pass,
Kelly?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum or Jameis Winston?
I'm going Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay, with three different answers.
If you're asking me, I'm going Jimmy G. I always liked Jimmy G, and he took the San Francisco 49ers to – he played well. Everybody was hating on him, but I thought he played well. He's been in the New England system. I think he would be a very adequate backup. If you're asking me through all those free agents, it'd be Jimmy G.
Case Keenum's 38 years old, George. Does that not give you concern?
I mean, the Indianapolis Colts
is 34.
The Indianapolis Colts signed Phillip Rivers. I mean, are we serious? Does it matter anymore?
Did not have any other option.
Well,
Jake Browning.
I mean, does that show you where the quarterback position is? And it's only getting worse, fellas. I promise you, it's only getting worse, especially when you got these kids transferring 6 times.
Because now you're getting into the Gardner Minshews of the world, the Skylar Thompsons, the Hendon Hookers. That's kind of what we're dealing with here.
No.
Sam Ehlinger, Jeff Driscoll.
Case Keenum.
George is not going to let that go.
Rand Carthon actually brought that up today, Kelly. about it's a different game now where you have all these guys that are transferring, 3 schools in 4 years. So when they get to the NFL, instead of them already being developed like they're supposed to be, they have to teach them the fundamentals all over again.
Well, Chan Gailey, years ago when Chan Gailey became the head coach for the Buffalo Bills, I can remember reading something, and he said, I never thought in a million years that I would have to teach a college kid how to take a snap under center, and I'm doing it now.
If you play under Coach Wade in high school, you don't have to worry about that.
I played in the gun just a little bit in college, but I was under center. And it takes guys that, it's a lot of learning, and it's a lot more coaching and teaching that you have to do. But isn't that amazing that a head coach said, I can't believe that I've got to teach a guy how to take a snap under center. In all the years of my coaching, never had this fall into my lap, and now it is.
So here are our options for the rest of the show. You could listen to us banter about backup quarterbacks, or you can call in because we're going to open up the phone lines in the next segment. All right. 615-759-9949. Let us know your thoughts on who you think the Titans should take. Heck, let us know your thoughts on who should be the Titans' backup quarterback. Should the Titans try to trade Will Levis? Let us know at 615.
Is that all they're allowed to talk about?
9949. Anything sports
we got basketball. I mean, we got
basketball.
We got hockey that you just blasted me for yesterday.
Were you patriotic and watch? Did you watch USA and Canada? Unlike these,
it has nothing to do with patriotic. And I'm going to go back to what George says. I think George and Tony even talked about it. When you're playing at 8:00 in the morning, I didn't even know it was on at 8. I really didn't.
Like 5:30.
It doesn't matter. I don't watch TV. If I watch TV until nighttime. There's things I do during the day, Parker. I don't sit in the mirror. I don't sit in the mirror trying to put gel in my hair, Hoss.
Work on that golf swing.
I mean, golly. Get some gel.
We'll head to the other side. Talk to you on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. Just a reminder, the phone lines are open at 615-759-9949. If you want to talk anything about sports, that is the phone number to call. And we will head to them right now. We welcome in Tony from Nolensville on line 1. Tony, how's it going?
What's going on?
What's going on, Tony?
Well, George, sometimes you have to feel like Mother Goose watching your two little hens in the chicken house or whatnot.
Did I just get compared to a hen in a chicken house?
And I tell you what, it's been funny. It's been comical.
I'm glad we made you laugh at least.
You guys are funny. You guys are funny. Speaking of quarterbacks, let me ask y'all something. I know, Kelly, you brought it up a while ago that the run got Phillip Rivers last year. Whatever has become of Tannehill?
I don't know where Kelly's gone.
Kelly's rejoining us now.
So the story that I've got on this is that Tannehill, when he left the Titans, made the decision that it was either going to play for a contender and going to get exactly what he wanted, whether it was money, contender, both, or he wasn't playing. And I think it was the Vikings at one point that reached out to him. Kelly, I'm talking about Ryan Tannehill. And I think that's the best I can give you on it.
Well, when you've got plenty of money, but Tony, when you've got plenty of money in the bank, when you have plenty of money in the bank and you've reached a point in your career that Ryan Tannehill did where he's played a lot of games, you can do that. I could have stayed a couple more years, but I got to the point where I didn't want to do it anymore, and I didn't get the kind of money that he got shoved at him. But like when you do that and when you have that, then you can tell those. I'll give you an example. I can remember being on the phone with a GM, and I'd played 13 years in the National Football League, and he said, well, we want you to come up here and work out. And I said, you've seen me on tape. You've got plenty of tape. Go watch. I said, I'm not coming up there. And the thing about it was my son was a little bitty. He was a baby, and he was a toddler, but we were having his birthday party the next day. And I said, here's the deal. I'm not coming on Saturday. I'll come on Sunday if you still want me to come. And then there was a long 15 seconds of silence. And then he goes, I'll get back with you. Well, do you think they ever got back with me? So when you reach a point in the league and you can do stuff like that, it really doesn't matter to you. And that's what Ryan Tannehill, that's where he is, because it doesn't matter. Money's no object to him anymore.
Well, I was always curious, and especially with this list that Parker had brought up with all these guys who were potential backups who you could go to, and his name come out, and I just thought, he hadn't been out of the league that long, but apparently, he's at that point. So, and that is thank y'all for answering that, because it is just something that I've always been curious to, whatever happened.
Tony,
George,
it says he officially retired from the league in November of 25. He put something out on social media.
Okay, that's something. George, here's something I do have a question for you, and you know hockey way more than I do, and some of the other two right here on the board. But when teams go into when it's a penalty, you've got what am I trying to say? Man advantage. The 5-on-4 deal.
Yeah, you're 5 against their 4.
Guys,
Power play.
If you're 4, are they going to always be out on the ice? Are they always defensemen?
You're talking about the group that's trying to defend?
Penalty kill, right. Your penalty kill.
I'm not going to pretend to act like I know hockey to that level. For sure, there are 2 defensemen out there. What they're running,
I've never paid much attention to that, George, and I thought, you go to way more hockey games and know it way better than I do.
And I've always been curious to that, so I didn't know.
So
Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Now, let me kind of tell you what I see in it, because I've got a unique seat, 304 row 1, which means I'm looking right straight down on it, as opposed to the people who are really low. They get the blood and the gore, and at times they get the speed. I get the ability to watch the play set up. And what they do defensively is they basically go into a 2-on-2 zone. And it always looks to me like they can cover enough ground until you get that diagonal pass. That's where I see most of the easy goals in a power play come from, is the diagonal pass. But oftentimes you see teams that are on the power play get bogged down way out front. The Predators have this happen a lot. And by the way, tomorrow night, it would behoove them to start out a little quicker than they have been, because in the last 2-3 weeks before the Olympics, they never looked ready to play to start a game. That's just a side note, kind of free of charge.
Great. George, how soon do you think we'll know how many games in? Do you think we'll know if the Predators are going to make it be in the playoffs or not? How quick you think we'll be able to tell?
I think for them to get there, given how many teams they have to jump over, even though they're only 5 points out, they got a bunch of teams to jump over. And to me, it would be, they've got to have somewhere in there something like a 4-game winning streak. When I hear people say they got a 50-50 chance of making the playoffs, that's bull. They don't. I don't know what the exact odds are, but when you have to jump over that many teams, it's not going to be easy. Trade deadline, I think, is March 6th. And that'll give you a little bit of an idea of how they're feeling internally.
They have 5 games before the trade deadline, too.
Yeah.
One last question for all you guys. I'm going to hang up and let y'all get some more calls. Is the draft's coming up? Do y'all see Pavia anywhere in the draft, or do y'all think, and George, you've mentioned this once before, I do think the Canadian Football League would be a prime league for him to be in. I'm going to let y'all discuss that and see what you go. But, guys, I love y'all. Keep going after each other. So, George, get your little paddle out. Sometimes you have to spank these boys.
I hate the paddle.
Who's going first?
Kelly, go ahead.
I'll go. I'll go first. I just don't see him getting drafted, man. I really don't. I think, when he, I don't know, man. You guys say things sometimes, and we all know what he did at the Heisman deal. But when you come out and you say that Johnny Manziel is the guy you looked up to, maybe he is, but let's keep that under wraps, because we all know what Johnny Manziel did when he got to the National Football League. He partied. He didn't take it serious enough, and I think that kind of warrants people off. Plus, he's not very, he's not a big guy. What did he get measured at? 5'8"? Was he 5'8"?
It was something like that.
5'8", 5'9"?
I think he was 5'8". So in college, Diego Pavia is a ball-playing Jesse. There's no question about that. And I think he's a ball-playing Jesse wherever he goes. But I just don't think that he can do the kind of things that he did in the NFL that he did at Vanderbilt. I really don't. And then they're going to not rush him, and they're going to put their hands up. Now, I've told you before, I mean, we've had the Doug Flutys of the world, the Kyler Murrays, but Kyler Murray is really, athletically, he's really fast. He can make things happen with his feet. I'm not saying that Diego Pavia can't, because he can. Tony said it. George, you said it a couple of weeks ago. Maybe Canada. I don't think this is the end of his playing career at all. I think he could go to Canada. And he may come out and he may show. Like Dave Craig wasn't a very big guy either, and Dave Craig played for a long time. The Seahawks, the Chiefs. Look him up, Parker. I know you don't know who that is, but
you don't give me enough credit, Kelly.
There's guys like that make it. They get an opportunity and they come in and they shine. Brock Purdy's not but Brock Purdy's 6'1". So I just don't see him getting drafted, and I can see him having to go do something else. I mean, Warren Moon went to the Canadian Football League and won a bunch of Grey Cup titles, and then came down here, and now he's in the Hall of Fame, and now he's had his number unretired so he could give it to Cam Ward in the Titans organization. So there's always rooms for stories. I just don't know if Diego Pavia is that guy, because I think when he does some of the things that he does, I think it scares people off because he's not that good to be doing that stuff. He's a good player, but he's not that good to be doing the kind of silly things that he has been known to do.
So on the field, not great arm strength, but very, very accurate.
Yes.
David Cutcliffe brought that up one day, and he's right about that. He may be better off not being drafted, where whoever his representation is can try to zero in on a team where he might be able to be the third quarterback. I don't think that's going to happen, but
George, that's a great thought, because I can remember my agent telling me way back when, 30 years ago, he said, I know you don't want this, but if you're going to go in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round, maybe not the 5th, but the 6th or 7th round, you would rather not be drafted. Now, I know that's hard because everybody wants that status of, hey, I was drafted. But if you don't get drafted and you're that late in the draft, you can kind of pick and choose. Like if you had 4 or 5 teams, what is the best opportunity for you to make that ball club on that team? Whereas if you get drafted, you get shoved into a situation, and then if they got guys there that are already there, they're just bringing you in as a camp guy, and you may be the third guy, or you may be a practice squad player. You don't know that, So that's a good point, George, and not many people think about that, especially at the quarterback position. You would always love to have an opportunity to have maybe 5 teams that are interested in you, look at their situations and look at their contracts and look at what's going on in the quarterback room, and then pick and choose where you can go. And that would be great for Diego Pavia.
So I think he is going to get drafted. I think he's going to be a late day 3 guy. But if it comes down to that, or being an undrafted free agent and getting to choose the team, obviously best case scenario for him is exactly what Kelly laid out. At best, I think you're going to get a guy who is good, that the players want to be around. I know that kind of sounds weird to say, but he can get a locker room motivated. So I think that is a benefit of bringing in a Diego Pavia. But at the same time, you got to worry about the extracurricular. Like George brings up all the time, his brothers. Are they going to be around? Because that's going to be an issue if that's the case. But I absolutely see him being a fit in the UFL or the Canadian Football League. I think he can make a killing in the UFL.
That's a thing that you worry about as a coaching staff, as a head coach and a coaching staff. If he's more than likely going to be the third guy, what are we going to have to deal with, not on the field, but off the field with the guy? I mean, are we going to have to because here's what happens, and y'all know this. Not everybody knows, but head coaches hear things, and they know things, and people call them about things, and people tell them about what's going on outside of that facility and what guys are doing. And they've always got guys that are, I wouldn't say a narc, but they've got guys in the organization that know exactly, like the security people know exactly what's going on with each and every member of that team. And I would just think to myself, I wouldn't want to be worried with that if he is not, one of the top 2 quarterbacks. I wouldn't want to be worried with that. That's just me.
Let's go ahead and go to the phones. We got a couple more callers to get to. Clay on line 2. Clay, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
George, by the way, I think the angst between Parker and Kelly has returned. I think I heard Kelly call Parker a punk.
He's called me
You
worse
did,
over
Clay.
text, but I won't read those.
Kelly, did you call him a punk?
I did call him a punk, but it's nothing new because I used to call Billy a punk daily because Billy was a punk
Your mouth
sometimes.
breather, Kelly, to steal Tony's turn.
George, back to your comment about being 0-8 as a broadcaster in Rupp Arena. I can only say I wish you better luck as a fan Saturday.
Yeah. That building's pretty amazing. I haven't seen it since they've redone it, so I'm really looking forward to that.
George, you said this earlier, and I agree with you. This is a critical game for Vanderbilt tonight. I don't think if this team wants to do some things down the stretch here and, make any kind of a run in the postseason, I just think it's critical that you win this basketball game. But, what concerns me the most is, and I know Tennessee's really good on defense, and that was a high-level game. You could tell that game meant a lot to both teams. And both teams played what I thought was really good defense. Vanderbilt just needs to play better offensively like they had, earlier in the year. They need to get better looks, do a better job getting Tyler Nickel open, get him open looks, because this just in, when he's open, he's pretty good. But Georgia is a good enough basketball team to come in here and beat you if you're not mentally tough enough to handle this.
And they may be good enough to beat Vandy, even if Vandy's really ready. That's the scary part is this is I don't know, I haven't seen it lately. Double-digit seed, 10, 9, Georgia? Somewhere in there?
I think last time I checked, it was a 9.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're a pretty good team.
They're pretty good, and they're very athletic. I'm worried that if this doesn't go well tonight, you got 3 in a row on the road after that, and that's tough.
How do you think, I've been wanting to ask you this, George, because I've seen some podcasts with Will about what he's trying to do with the Nashville Basketball Initiative. How do you think that's going overall as a whole?
I don't think it's really going to any great extent. I know Will has been frustrated. I don't think it's for a variety of reasons. One of them that's hard. Will doesn't live here, and that makes that harder for him. I think he's got a lot of former player support in what he's trying to do, but it doesn't feel like it's quite taken off.
Guys, great show as always. Thanks for taking my phone call.
Thank you for the call, Clay. One of our favorite callers is called in, Kelly. George from Boston, Massachusetts. Another George. George, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, guys? Greetings from the frozen tundra. How are you all doing?
How frozen is it?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw with the weather, but Boston just got absolutely nailed with snow earlier this week. My town got 30 inches of snow.
Good Lord.
Oh, my gosh.
Better you than me, Hoss.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember looking out my house Monday morning, and it was just a total whiteout. I mean, I wasn't around for the blizzard of 78, but this is definitely the most snow in one storm I've seen in my lifetime. It was pretty crazy. Anyway,
George, when I lived in Buffalo, man, we had 3 feet one time, and I was able to walk over my chain link fence. I know people can't believe that, but that's crazy.
I believe it, Kelly. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little Vandy hoops with you guys. As good as Byington has been as a coach, and good's an understatement because he's been great. I think he's got to figure out some of this last 2-minute stuff. A couple of the games that stick out to me in that regard are the Florida game earlier this year, where I believe Tyler Tanner late in the game went to the basket. He got his shot blocked. And then against Tennessee, there was a possession late where they went to Okereke. As much as I like Okereke, I think he's more of like the third or fourth option at best. I went to Vandy when those Jeff Taylor teams were playing, and the equivalent to what happened with Okereke on Saturday, it'd be like Lance Goldburn taking a shot in the last 2 minutes. He's a very, very good role player, but that's not the guy you want with the ball in that situation. I think if they can figure out the last 2 minutes stuff, especially with Miles back, they can hopefully win their first tournament game since 2012. The other thing I wanted to bring up, too, was I think when the transfer portal time comes, this team needs a true small forward. Ever since Jeff Taylor went to the NBA draft, Vanderbilt basketball has not had a true small forward who's a slasher and who can take it to the basket. I was just curious as to what you guys thought about all that.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree with virtually anything you've put out there. I remember Byington's first year because the press conference, if I remember correctly, was all the way into April. So he had to fly by the seat of his pants in that first month. And how he ever assembled a team, because let's face it, he had a bunch of rejects out of Jerry Stackhouse's world, most of whom needed to be shown the door. And then he's got to get a whole new roster in about 30 days. And I remember him telling me at one point about like one of the issues he was having to deal with that he really hadn't thought about a lot was housing and how difficult that can be. And, you know, in year two, he put together what I thought was a way more athletic team. But Kelly, as we go down the stretch, they don't feel as way more athletic as they did in December.
It certainly seems like it's catching up with them, George. And I think, you know, with the way they started and how they're finishing right now, and they've got this really tough stretch that you talked about, you know, starting with Georgia, and Clay even talked about it. You got Georgia coming in here, and Georgia can whip your rear end if you're not ready. So I don't know. I think they got to have some bigs, man. I'm like George. I think they got to have small forwards. I think they got to have some bigs that, you know, Florida's kind of the exemplary team right now that has all that. And I think in order to compete against teams like that and the UConns of the world, you got to have some guys, and he's going to have to go out and recruit some more dudes.
The bad thing about two of their losses at home, maybe a little less in the Tennessee game, but in the Florida game, in their two SEC losses at home, they played their butt off. And Florida was just brilliant.
Yeah. That was the start of Florida getting hot, I feel like. So, and now they're number 7 in the country.
In the Tennessee game, you could make the claim that if Tyler Nickel had hit that open 3, Vandy wins the game. That's how close it was. It was a 1-possession game either way. And at home, you can't afford that it go the other way.
And that Psalm
right.
is real. I'm telling you, it could give Vanderbilt a lot of issues if they're not careful. So we'll be keeping an eye. We'll actually preview that on the other side a little bit, as well as the rest of the college basketball slate for tonight. And regretfully, I will give my pick of the day. We'll see how that goes. On the other side of the George Plaster Show.
Pick it up.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Green Hills Mall.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Oh, man. Some big news, some big Titans news just happened 21 minutes ago. The Titans released Xavier Woods, safety, from the roster and released Lloyd Cushenberry III, the center. Apparently, he failed a physical. So they got the axe.
He gone.
That'll
That's
be
how
interesting.
fast that's how fast your life is in the National Football League. The old "not for long" cliche is back.
Wow. So it'll be interesting to see. I wonder if this kind of ramps up I don't think it'll happen, but releasing Xavier Woods, does that bring Caleb Downs into the discussion now? Because now you need a safety.
No, not to
I
me.
personally think if he falls out of the top 5, I think that's crazy. Because he's absolutely one of the top 5 best players in the draft.
I agree, but safety is not one of the positions that. I mean, it's kind of like a running back or a wide receiver to me. You know, unless you get an Adrian Peterson, which is a generational talent, I don't know if Jeremiah Love is that guy. Do you think Jeremiah Love is George? Do you think when Adrian Peterson came out, and I was fortunate enough to play with him as a rookie, unbelievable player. But do you think that Jeremiah Love is like Adrian Peterson?
Well, Kelly, I think the real question is, can they take that gamble? They're not in a position to gamble.
I don't think so. Is this saying that Tony Pollard is not coming back?
I don't know what it's saying, but here's what I think I would have to do is I get everybody in the room and say, okay, some of you are pushing for Jeremiah Love. How certain are you? Because if you're not certain, I'm not falling flat on my face telling people he's Jahmyr Gibbs when he turns out to be Andy Gibbs.
Andy
Do you like that?
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Little BGs, baby.
You want another one?
Go for it.
Tell me.
Well, Parker's picks have caused a lot of pain, but that's not the pain that the Dr. Gill Center is dealing with.
What kind of pain are they dealing with, George?
Well, I don't know. That's why you were supposed to hit the commercial.
Fill us in on the doctor.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
So the last guy that they used the gun on in that commercial, he told the doctor, man, I've been listening to this dumbbells picks and he never wins.
Parker, it's come to the point where we've just got to say it, man. You suck at picking games.
You don't have to say it. I'll say it. I suck. It's been terrible.
Yeah. Is it possible, though, that it's putting a new appreciation on the director?
I'm not going to go that far. You want to see my pick tonight? You want to critique it?
Yeah, whatever.
Nobody really cares.
Just let me know what you think. St. John's plus 5.5 versus UConn.
See, this is Kelly. This is what's tough, and I'll also tell you, I think this is one of the problems Vandy's facing right now. When you get deep into conference play, the opponent knows your stuff better than you do. You'll sit there and you'll call out fist. That's a fist. And the other team goes high screen, high pick and roll. They know. And that's what makes it. I mean, the Tennessee Vandy game was a big grind out. Every possession felt like sitting in the dentist chair because both teams know each other's stuff.
When you're or when you're on the goal line against the Baltimore Ravens and Ray Lewis is the middle linebacker and he calls out the first play and then the second play he says, "Hey, watch the fullback angle," and then O'Kell calls a timeout and go over there and I cuss at Bruce and I say he knows every blankety blank play we're calling.
Do you think this will be a good game tonight?
Yes, it will be a good game.
I think you're going to lose.
Because I'm not doing a money line pick.
I think you're going to lose again, though.
If I was doing money line,
do.
I'm picking UConn.
Well, no, see, that's cheating.
I'm picking the spread.
Okay, well, let us congratulate you. I've been doing that for 3.5 years. Okay, you decided, first of all, that you were going to cheat. And secondly, you decided not to put your record up.
Oh. Do we have to put the record up?
Oh, I think so. For those viewing,
wow, Parker,
you 20
suck.
And 23. Why did that only stay up for like a third of a second?
Because that's how long it deserves to be up.
Oh.
No longer.
Sucks, Parker.
UConn, do I have confidence that this is going to happen? Actually, I do. I think this is going to hit. I think this is going to be a really close game. UConn's going to win, but it's going to be close.
BYU sure competed at the highest level.
Let down
Kelly.
City.
How embarrassing was that?
It's embarrassing. You need
it
to stop,
was not as
Parker.
embarrassing as the NC State Louisville.
How much did BYU get beat by?
20-something.
They were an 11, 12-point favorite.
Louisville beat NC State by 41, and I picked NC State to cover. That's more embarrassing.
I think they came back, and I think it was only like a 13-point game, if you want to be honest.
It's embarrassing.
I hate this stuff.
Are we done?
We're done.
Thank God.
Let's get out of here. See you tomorrow on the George Plaster Show.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobitz. Our forecast going to keep us on the cloudy side going toward the afternoon, and some scattered rain showers move into the forecast throughout the day and really pick up overnight. High of 60 degrees today and back down to the 40s tomorrow. You'll wake up with a few more lingering showers.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Athletes Unlimited Pro Basketball comes back